Welcome to the second video about how to use the gradebook in GradeBookWizard. In our previous video, we took an initial look at the gradebook. In this video, we're going to take a look at some more of the advanced features and some other ways you can configure the gradebook. Let's start by going back into the gradebook by clicking on the gradebook tab. So here we go. And this should now be familiar. So we are seeing the gradebook laid out as a paper gradebook would be. So we have one row for each student, and we have one column for each assignment. And if you recall from a previous video, we can create new assignments using the Create New link here in the first column, or by clicking the Create New Assignment button that you see up here. So one of the first things I wanted to highlight is how you can configure the gradebook so that it works best for you. By default, when you set up your gradebook, you will see assignments sorted in date order. So you can see here, we're looking at the assignment Victorian Literature, which is due on 4/2. Then we have the Romance era due on 5/1. Evaluation 5/5, and so on. So basically we have the oldest assignment first and the newest assignment furthest to the right. This mimics a paper gradebook where you'd be entering new assignments as columns as you go. Now this works well, but once your gradebook gets larger, the newest assignments will go further and further out to the right. Usually those are the assignments that you actually want to be working with. They're the ones you haven't graded yet. So you do have the option of changing how these are sorted. There's a drop-down up here that right now says oldest first. If I click on that and change it to newest first, I've now reversed the sort order here in the gradebook. So I can now see the most recent assignment first, and then the other presumably already graded assignments will go to the right. That makes it easier for me to see which assignments I'm going to be working on next, since they'll appear right here. There's another sort option in the gradebook as well, which has to do with how students appear. By default, in your account, students will be sorted by their last names. You can choose to sort by first name or by one of their IDs. So in this case, it'll sort by this alphanumerical ID. I'll go back to last name though. Another option you have in terms of customizing the gradebook is what you see in each column. So right now we're seeing the letter grade and the score, and also a little marker in case there happens to be a comment for one of the grades, in this case, excellent work. You have two other formats you can choose from. One is called compact. As you can see, this is a more compact format where all we're seeing is the score, along with the little icon to indicate whether or not a comment exists. The header becomes very compressed so that it can sometimes be hard to see what the assignment names are, but you do have the dates here. And you can also hover your mouse above the column heading and it will show the full assignment name. Unfortunately, that does not really show in this video. The other option you have here with Gradebook is to go to what's called the full format. And this adds the percentage for each grade, each student grade, in addition to the letter grade and the score. So, of course, if most of your assignments are 100-point assignments, seeing the percentage may not be a huge benefit. But if you do have assignments that are scored at, let's say, 20 points, 25 points, 30 points, something like that, it could be useful to see the percentage in addition to the letter grade and the score. For now, I'll go back to the default setting, which is just letter grade and score. Once you have settings set up the way you like them, you can click on this Set Preps button. That remembers these settings, so next time you log into GradeBookWizard, the program will default to these settings for you automatically. Now, another nice feature you have on the gradebook page is that you can pull up an instant progress report for any one of the students you see here. You do that by clicking on the yellow progress folder here, the leftmost icon on the row. So if you pull one up for our student Frodo here, you can see how he's doing in all the classes in which you have him. So Frodo is enrolled in my 4th period English literature class. And if I scroll up here a bit, I can see that he currently has a 57.3% grade average, which is not so great, but he has been absent of it. You can also see how your grade breaks down by category. In this class, I'm using weighted categories. We'll talk more about those later, but weighted categories allows you to determine how much each category contributes to the student's grade averages. So in this case, I only have assignments that are classified as classwork. I don't have any other assignments at this point for my 4th period. In addition, I can see how Frodo has done historically in prior grading periods. So the first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, and the third 9 weeks are already here. So I can see the grade that he has achieved in those prior grading periods. Now you may wonder why Frodo is receiving a letter grade that looks different than the grading scale that's chosen for this class. He has a U, and his other grades are S's and E's. This is because it is possible in GradeBookWizard to use a different grading scale for specific students. We'll cover that in a subsequent video. So this lets you have students that have a modified grading scale, and it applies only to that student. So let's close this window. Now the other icon you see here in the left column looks like a little notepad, and some of these notepads have exclamation marks on them. If I click on the one that has a red exclamation mark for Frodo, it brings up his, this is essentially his log. This records all of the automatic emails that were generated by the program and sent to Frodo and or his parents, in addition to any notes that you manually enter for the student. So you can see here, if I scroll down, there are a lot of notes that have gone, or actually a lot of emails that have gone out to Frodo because of low or failing grades. I do have a note that I have entered somewhere in here further down the list. Here it is, I think, allergic to peanuts. And of course, at any time, I can enter any ad hoc note I want to here, and I can optionally choose to make this note available for other teachers to see. By default, these notes are private and only available to me, and they can never be viewed by students or parents. Okay, well that pretty much sums it up for this video, and we have one more video coming up on the gradebook with some additional features that highlight how to use the grade all mode in the most efficient manner.